Hello, everyone. Welcome to Coffee Tea, You and Me. This is our weekly show where we come with entrepreneurs and extra special people to share, to get together with one another and create wonderful opportunities for individuals and specialists to get together and talk about everything SWAM business. So as most of you all know, my name is Coach Powell. I work with small women-owned, minority-owned businesses, helping them just get their act together, do the right things, make sure that they're doing everything they can to be successful. I'm an advocate for the SWAM community. I love dealing with SWAM businesses because I feel like they're like the economic engine of our country. Without the small businesses, and I mean the really small businesses, a lot of what happens in our economy just simply cannot work. 98% of the businesses that are out there, the small businesses are out there, are less than one person. I mean, you can't have less than one person, obviously, but there's one person, sitting around in their basement, just like some of us are, and we're making it happen with consulting, or we've got small products that we're going to sell on the internet, or all kinds of good stuff. And we're a serious part of how this game is played. So I'm always making sure that I do everything I can to support small businesses. Coffee Tea, You and Me is a program that I've been doing now for almost 20 years. I started doing this in coffee shops. And the first coffee shop was Jamie's General Bean right here in Centerville. And then we moved to the Panera Bread when they built the first Panera Bread in Centerville, Virginia. And since the pandemic has happened, we've been able to do the program online. I've had 30, 40 people show up. I've had 20 people show up. I mean, it doesn't matter. Every week we try to make sure we deliver something magical. I rarely ever miss doing this. Maybe once a year, 52 weeks out of the year, we're consistent. Every week at 3 o'clock without fail, we're talking about topics that are relevant. And just so you know, the topics that I talk about, I get from my listening audience. I get from the questions that people ask, the questions that clients ask. And I'm a trainer at heart, so I build all kinds of training and all kinds of programs and training guides and manuals to help people kind of learn. And I give them away for free, especially to my clients, so don't have to worry about, people paying a lot of money for all this kind of good stuff we're going to be talking about today, because there's all kinds of exercises and tools that I'm going to share with you that are going to help you just get better at what you do. Today's topic is exciting. It is the 5 elements of perfect presentation. And we're going to get into that in just a few minutes. But I created this particular training guide for a reason. I was, moving along in my life, doing the things that I do, and I was going to a lot of networking functions. I was going to a lot of business meetings. This was about, I'm going to say 15 years ago, and it sickened me how many people just did not present themselves well. They didn't know what they were talking about. I mean, they seemed to not know even what they offered, which was kind of crazy to me, because I thought, oh my goodness, how are you delivering your brand messages in such a poor way? Why are you doing it this way? How did you learn? Did you not have any communications classes during college? I know I was forced to take speech class and all that kind of good stuff. Did you not go to Toastmasters and kind of learn how to speak extemporaneously? Why is it that your presentation is so stale? Why is it so boring? Why is it so mechanical? Why are you using industry jargon that nobody knows, what it is that you're supposed to do? And so I thought, what? I got to do something. I got to create something that is going to help entrepreneurs, small business leaders, leaders of all types learn how to present better. And I came up with the 5 elements of perfect presentation. Now, I'm going to share with you a lot about the 5 elements of perfect presentation. In fact, I'm going to share the training about it, and I've written several articles about it. But the fundamental basis of the program really is about understanding how to make sure your message is effective and memorable. So much so that people who hear it can quickly share it with other people that they know. Because this is how you take a message from a simple message to a message that can go viral, something that can make a big difference to your listening audience. Because You don't want to just have to repeat the same old boring dribble all the time. You want to have a message that's so strong, that's so powerful. If you deliver it in the right places, it can take on a life of its own, and it can go viral. Now, everybody says, I want to have viral messaging, right? I want to go viral. I want to make sure, once and done, right? Everybody wants to do that. But here's the problem. You have to follow the formula if you want it to actually happen for you. You have to have the right message given to the right audience. And in that right audience, there have to be the right kinds of people to hear it, pick it up, and then move that message on to an entire group within your target audience. You have to be strategic, scientific, and brilliant at your delivery to make sure this happens. And this is not something that is easily done. There are those people who have like great personalities and they think that they're going to be good at this automatically, or people who consider themselves extroverts, right? And they think automatically, I know exactly what to say. Just because you want the attention or command the attention does not mean the kind of attention that you get is the right kind of attention. And so you have to think about not just who you are, but what is it, the message that you want to deliver, and what do you want people to do with that message, and how do you do it? I'm going to suggest the best way has always been through the story format. And that's what we're going to teach today. We're going to talk to you a little bit about how do you deliver the kind of stories, and how do you wrap any message that you want to wrap up into the kind of stories that are so magnificent people go, oh my God, I got to go tell somebody. That's what you want. You want to recruit people. You want to enlist them into your dream. Whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, whatever it is you want to do, you want to find those that are going to go with you and run with you and support you and make that happen. But you can't do it if you deliver bad messages. Okay, so we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back after our wonderful little opening message. And I really am excited to introduce, our special guest host today. This is exciting group of people we've got with us today. I mean, talk about some powerful women, but you can't wait till we come back. You'll see them. Okay, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Coffee Tea, You and Me, for the last 52, every 52 weeks, every year for the last almost 20 years. I sit down with entrepreneurs, business professionals, leading consultants of every type you can imagine to talk to them about things and ideas and concepts that really, really help businesses grow. Today, I have with me 3 of the most powerful business women you are ever going to get a chance to meet, to be a part of, and they have some amazing ideas and concepts to share with you, and they're going to help me kind of flesh out some of the meat and the potatoes of our conversation today. These are just wonderful people, and I'm going to start to introduce them. We got backstage right now, we got Amy Fuentes, who's an amazing mortgage representative and a super smart entrepreneur businesswoman. We got Joanne Roll, who's a coach and trainer and developer. She can help you figure out how to get your TED Talk together and do all kinds of amazing things. And we got Montrella Cowan. Oh my God, this is going to be an exciting show. I can't wait to bring them forward. They're going to come, they're going to tell you a little bit about themselves, what they have to offer, and I will be posting their information in the chat box as they communicate to us. And we're going to start the ball rolling today with Madam Amy Fuentes. Welcome to the board. Amy Fuentes, take it away.
Hey. Thank you so much for having me, Marvin. This is awesome. You guys, I do a lot of different things. I have a lot of different hats, but I've condensed it into just a few things to let you know what results people get when they work with me. Through my talks and my programs, people reimagine their decisions. And as a result, they find their voice, They totally change their stories and they become their own hero. And as a result of this, they feel inspired, they feel empowered, and they feel confident that they have what it takes to achieve their dreams and goals. And I do this through my talks and through my programs. And you know, something that I want to let your listeners and viewers know, Marvin, is that I am always looking to connect with people, especially individuals who are creating opportunities for people to learn, grow, and connect, which is what we're going to be doing today. So this is right in my wheelhouse. This lights me up. This gets me really excited. And if you're somebody that is creating a program or a speaking opportunity to impact others, let them learn, grow, please, I'd love to talk to you further.
I have known Amy for, I don't know, how long has it been, Amy? More than a decade at least.
Oh yeah.
And
probably
she's just
since
been
2010. Yeah, at least 10 or 11 years.
I think she came out to the Small Business Forum, which is where I met her first, and for the Small Business Commission, of which I am now the chairman for the Fairfax County Small Business Commission. And she's just been a business dynamo here in the Northern Virginia area. So good to have you. Thank you so much for coming. I'm going to welcome to the board now Miss Joanne Roll.
Hi, I'm putting my timer on so I make sure to stay within my 2 minutes. I am indeed an introvert, not an extrovert. I have learned how to tell a story and a message. The first thing I want to tell you about me is I am the first in my family to have received a college education. My great-grandmother was blind. She could not read or write, but she had vision. And her vision was education could change the lives of her family and their families. And while I was the first in my family to be educated, I was not the last. I have 5 sisters and brothers, and every single one of them behind me now holds at least 1 degree and another degree. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that because that is my life experience. I've traveled all over the world. I am currently the dean of the School of Business at Medgar Evers College, City University of New York. The work that we have done is in the future of work and entrepreneurship for the underserved. Of 2016, we did a couple of conferences, one on social entrepreneurship and the other on corporate social responsibility. It was a group from Chile, Kenya, Jamaica, and several other countries. And we didn't want to do like a lot of times you do. You go to conferences, you read your papers, and you go home, and that's the end of it. We wanted to continue our work in entrepreneurship and economic development because we saw that many of our students and those in our communities did not have the kind of economic development we thought we would have. And when we did our research, we found that the income and the wealth gap in our communities, and I'm talking about the U.S., but I'm also talking about across the globe, since the civil rights movement has widened, not shortened. And in our lifetimes, we've seen many innovators like the Amazons and the Facebook and the Microsofts, and they've come out of innovations. And so what we try to do, our why, is we want to bring entrepreneurship and economic development from the bottom up. We just completed a book that has 25 voices from about 14 different countries about entrepreneurship and economic development and how to work it from the ground up. So I'm available on LinkedIn. Actually, I post very often on LinkedIn, and the book is available on Amazon.com. I have just exceeded my 2 minutes. I'm around. Bye-bye.
Oh my God. I love Medgar Evers. In fact, Mr. Jackson, which is one of the former CEOs or chairman of Medgar Evers, is one of my fraternity brothers. And when I was spending some time in New York City myself as a young financial advisor, we had a lot of fraternity meetings at Medgar Evers, and Brother Jackson was there. It was just an amazing time And I love Medgar Evers University. I'm so glad. Anything we can do to support the university and what you're doing there is amazing. We love to do it. So you can call on us, and we're going to do something really nice for Medgar Evers anytime you want it. Okay, so the next person we got to talk to is Madam Montrella Cowan. And I've asked Montrella to go ahead and put whatever contact information she wants in the private chat here, and I will post that as she's introducing herself. Take it away, Montrella.
Happy Friday, everyone. You are in the right spot. Thank you, Marvin, for hosting such an awesome event and bringing to the people that it is doable. The question you might be asking yourself is, do I have what it takes to be a powerful presenter who actually makes an impact? And I am here today to attest to you, yes, you do have what it takes. My name is Montrella Cowan, and I am a licensed therapist, an author, and a speaker. And especially for those women owners who are in the service field, I'm here to support you in your questions and to tell you that, yes, you can do the speaking and make an impact.
Fantastic. It's so good to see you, Montrella. Montrella, Joanne, and Amy, all of us are friends and associates and contacts on LinkedIn. Any of you all who are interested in finding out more about us, please go and check out our LinkedIn page. And by the way, if you get some magic from us today, something that you might be able to take away and move and grow and move your business forward, definitely hit us up on LinkedIn. Let us know that you give us a little thank you, a little attaboy, a little gratitude. I am a big believer in thanking the people who have contributed to my growth and development, and making sure that I do everything I can to honor them and give them the credit to which they are due when it comes to making that happen. I wrote a program not too long ago called The Rap Approach. The Rap Approach is really about respect, affection, and praise, making sure that we take the time to give each other that respect, that affection, and that praise. Notice I said affection, not appreciation. Appreciation is easy. What I want is love, and what I know you want is love as well. So today we're going to be talking about the 5 elements of perfect presentation. Now, when you look at the document that I have placed in our chat, let me make sure I do that again so everybody can see it and get a copy of it that are in our audience. Sometimes I'm really good at this technology stuff, and sometimes it vexes me. Okay, there it is. That is, you'll be able to see the chat in the chat box. You'll be able to see the document pop up, and you'll be able to link on and open that document up. I'm going to ask everybody to do that because I want to make sure you can get it on your computer whenever you want. You can always come back to the link if for some reason it doesn't work. I see it popped up on YouTube. Pretty good. Facebook might have had a little bit of a challenge. Let me try it one more time. And it seems to be going through. Yeah, it's gone through now. Okay, so if you're watching us live on YouTube or watching us live on Facebook, you can get to that document right now. And I'd like you to open it up. We have a couple people in the listening audience. Definitely open up the document, and I want you to turn to page 2 of the document. At the bottom of page 2, you're going to see a little illustration. And that illustration has 5 little circles. It has first circle is impact, drama, then there's heroism, then there's vision, and there's recognition. This is the system. This is the strategy that I'm going to suggest that anytime you get to present yourself or present any information that you use. We spent the last 5 weeks going over in great detail what this system is and how it works. So I'm going to quickly, briefly brief you on that, and then we're going to go into some very powerful tips that you can use, and you're going to wrap it up, and we're going to go to our studio audience to see what they think about a couple of those ideas. First thing, impact. The first thing you must do when you open up your mouth and present to anyone is make sure that you have created some type of impact. Now, there's 2 methods that I suggest that you use. first method is you must, right off the top of your presentation, indicate that there is a great benefit that is aboard for people to pay attention to what you're about to say. You can do that either through asking an open-ended question, like how would you like to become a magical presenter? Or you can do that through saying, you know, today we're going to go through some of the greatest tips anybody's going to need to become masterful at presenting, right? That's indication of a benefit. A benefit is something that happens after you do whatever it is that you're going to do. After you say whatever it is you're going to say, or do whatever you want to do, people need an indication of a benefit right up front, because they want to know, why should I listen to you? What is in it for me? What is this all about? Why should I pay attention? You got to wake them up with something meaningful, something powerful, something that's impact right off the bat. The next thing I'm going to suggest with you is that you start to go right into a story. Don't waste any time talking about anything else, your name, the name of your company, how long you've been in business. None of that is relevant until it is relevant, and I'll tell you when it's going to be relevant. So the second part of the impact statement needs to be, after you've delivered a benefit statement of some type, needs to be, now you have to start developing a character. You got to launch right into the story. You know, this all started for me a long time ago when I first met Joel. Joel was a wonderful plumber who was trying to make sure that everyone knew about his plumbing business. He's 32 years old. He lived right here in Fairfax. He's got 2 kids, one 9, one 12. And he had a wife at home who was looking forward to spending a glorious couple of years, you know, as they're raising their children and spending time with each other, going on vacations and everything, and doing everything they need to get kid to just grow a wonderful family. Unfortunately, though, their father, Joe, had a hard time. He was not able to spend time with the kids because he was just beset with contracts and business opportunities. He could never get out from under things. He couldn't spend time with the kids. He could never go on vacation. And he was really trying to figure out how he was going to be able to save enough money to send the kids to college. What I just did for you was launch a whole character development program that gave you enough information to know about the person that I intend to talk about. You now know a little bit about Joe, the plumber, right? Joe, the plumber, that's a funny name. I just made it up, by the way. But when you understand how to create the character, what happens to a person's mental Rolodex is they start to go through their mind with people who fit the description of the people that you're talking about. They cannot help it. This is how you hijack somebody's attention and how you get immediate impact. What's going to happen once you start talking about a character, people are going to run through their own mind and start to go through, wait a minute, I know people who fit that description. I know somebody who's 32. I know somebody who's a plumber. I know somebody who's got a couple of kids. I know somebody who's got a wife. Or they'll start even going broader. They go, well, why does it have to be a guy? Maybe it's a woman. Why does it have to be somebody with kids? Maybe somebody who's single. Why does it have to? They'll start asking those questions of themselves, which again creates impact, makes you pay attention, makes them want to know more about what's going to happen next. Why is he talking about Joe? Right? If you do this right, then people are set up for the next thing. You got to give them some drama. Right? After you've introduced the character, you got to give them some drama, because the drama sets up, again, more attention, more ideas that are going to come forth. And then you're going to hit them with some pain, some suffering, some anguish. If Joe is not having a problem, who wants to listen to that story? Right? So you got to bring it. You got to bring it to the issue. So I already indicated that Joe was having a problem being at home, right? He was having a problem with his business. He was having a problem spending time with his children, and he was having a problem figuring out how he was going to pay for their education. This is a rough situation that Joe finds himself in, much like very many entrepreneurs that we might know, right? I'm going to put you guys backstage for a second, because I realized that I promise you I would do that, and you don't have to sit around and be on camera, and you can relax and chill. I can still see you, but nobody else can. So Joe is the kind of person, he's having a problem. He can't get the things done that he wants to get done. And he can't live the life that he wants to live. It really sucks to be Joe. Could you imagine having a wife who's like, you know, hey, you know what? Knock, knock, knock. Hey, buddy, when are you going to spend time with these kids that you helped me create? When are you going to, you know, contribute to the household? When are you going to go to church with us? When are you going to do anything that's going to further our family? Can you imagine what it must be like to be like Joe? I know there are a lot of women who are not just juggling their businesses, but they got right now. They got kids at home that are trying to learn and go to school virtually at the same time when they're trying to run a business. This is a problem that entrepreneurs all over the world are facing. Got to talk about the drama. If Joe doesn't solve this problem, not only does he fail as a father, he's unsuccessful as a business person because won't be able to put the money aside to raise his kids, to get them to college. He won't be able to put the money aside to pay off his mortgage. He won't be able to put the money aside to help them launch their careers or maybe do something special. And it's all for naught. A lot of people own businesses and they're not doing what they need to do to be as successful as they need to be to accomplish their hopes and dreams. It's a very, very sad scenario. You see how you set that drama in? You see how important it could be? Because next thing you want to do, after you have created the impact, after you have set the drama, the next thing you want to do is the hero has to come in and save the day. Here's a tip about the hero. The hero is not you. No matter what it is you do, no matter what it is your presentation is and all about and all that kind of stuff, the hero cannot be you. If the hero is you in the story that you are telling, you begin to sound like somebody who is bragging about themselves, somebody who doesn't have any humility or discipline, quite frankly. And so you should be telling the story, and the hero in this particular story should be Joe. Joe may have reached out to a lot of his friends to figure out, you know, how do I solve this problem? I mean, I have to do business and I don't have a choice. Should I raise my prices? Should I do something differently? You know, what should I do? He's been reaching out to people, trying to find some answers, and he's not able to find any answers. And finally, somebody said to him, you know what? You should hire a coach. Joe said, a coach? Coach is ridiculous. Why would I ever want to hire a coach? I mean, aren't they like on a football field or a basketball field? I need one for my business. And the guy told him, like, you know what? Actually, coaches do work with entrepreneurs. They do work with business owners. They help you improve your skills to see what might you be doing wrong and what might you be doing right. You should think about it. And Joe was like, no, I'm not doing it. It's too expensive. I don't have time. I don't have the money. I don't have any. This is just not something that I'm going to do. I didn't start a business to take orders from somebody else. So Joe struggled. He struggled for years and years, trying to figure out, should he do this? Should he not do this? Should he get done? Should he finally hire a coach? And finally he decided, after he'd gone through several interviews with several other coaches, several RFPs that he put out in the community looking for opportunities and so on and so forth, he finally decided to bring me on. Joe made the best decision that he had ever made, because he took advantage of our 100% money back guarantee. He understood that not only was I a coach, but I was a man about our community, and I was powerfully impacting the business community in several different ways. And I had several different people that I could put in front of him and contacts that he could use in order to get done the things that he wanted to get done and grow his business. He took advantage of all that, and he started winning immediately. Notice how the decision to become the hero in this story is my protagonist, which was Joe in the first place. Very, very important. Again, that as you're telling the story, you choose the hero, the character that you develop to be the hero in the story that you're talking about, because it's very, very important. If you do this well, you have created a situation where people feel empathy for the character. They remember the story. Even if they don't remember all the details of the story, they remember the story enough that they can tell it. Human beings throughout all of our lives and all of our history have been able to transfer tremendous amounts of information over and over again through storytelling. And we've used storytelling to create magic moments for ourselves and for others. To choose any other method to deliver information outside of stories is literally saying, I don't care about human nature. I don't care what it is that people have been able to make those ideas come to life and live in a community. I'm just going to ignore all that and shoot from the hip and do what I want to do. I'm going to tell you that that's probably not the smart way to go. And as all the research that I've done in the past indicate, stories are the best way to transfer any information. I don't care how much detail it is, how complicated it is. Stories are a way to set it up so people will actually pay attention, remember, and grow from the information that you share. A lot of entrepreneurs I know who feel themselves that they have to educate people. I mean, and that is an important aspect to sales. Don't get me wrong, but it's not your responsibility to educate your clients. Only to the extent that they say yes. You know, if you give them any more, they're probably going to have to think about it, right? So you have to be careful that you don't go so far that you educate your client to analysis paralysis and you create in them issues. Stories help you not do that. Stories help you keep it simple. Stories help you make sure that you are focused on the right thing and saying the right things for your clients. Okay, I'm going to keep going. In the next area of the 5 elements of perfect presentation is vision. Now, after you've set the client up, after you set the character, after you've delivered the drama, after you've created the hero moment, you now, as the speaker, get to share your vision for what you'd like the listening audience to do with the information that you just said to them. You could say, in this case, I would say, you know, I would love to get into the plumbers union and be able to talk to them about situations that I know affect them specifically. If you know anybody who's a chairman or on the board of directors for the National Association of Plumbers or the local plumbers union, I'd love to talk to them and tell them about Joe. And if you were able to help me do this, it would be amazing for me. I'd be able to make sure that all the plumbers in the local area were taken care of. In fact, the HVAC people or even the local concrete layers or whatever you do, right, would be able to benefit from some of the things that we have to share with the local plumbers. The Vision Quest 90 program that I created is amazing. It's worked for thousands and thousands of entrepreneurs for many, many, many years. The 100% money back guarantee that we offer is a great opportunity to make sure that people get to test and kick the tires before they make that full commitment. And it makes everything work really well because we can stand behind what we deliver for our clients every single time. And we've never had to give that money back, so we're 100% successful as far as I'm concerned. And we want to continue that track record, and you can help me. You can help me continue that track record by introducing me to locals that may need to have some of the help that we can offer to them and help them be better in their business. That's the vision, right? You got to set that vision because now people know this is how they can help you. They now know this is how they can get involved and maybe help a friend and help you simultaneously. Now, this is very, very important because everybody, whether they say it or not, and this is just another part of true human nature, everybody wants to live a life that's meaningful, significant, and relevant. The only way they know is when they're helping somebody who actually needs the help and will value the help. Whether you're helping a corporation or you're helping an individual, you have to make it so that they understand that what they're doing, their efforts, are going to help them be meaningful, relevant, and significant. That's what's in it for them. You get to do something special. You get to help somebody else out. You get to help a plumbers union out or an HVAC union out or a group of people who could really benefit from the information that I have to share with them. Whether they choose to use or not is up to them, but you get to make sure they have the choice. right? That's the vision. You have to set the vision so people understand this is what I can do with this information. This is what I can do with this story that Coach Powell just told me. I can go in and I could help somebody else by sharing it. And maybe we know somebody or somebody else knows somebody who might be able to use it. But if you don't tell a great story, again, back to, if you don't follow those first 3 elements very, very well, that means you have to practice, you have to rehearse, you have to write it down, you have to do all kinds of things. Then what you say will not be remembered. People will not go and share it with other people. They won't even know who to go share it with. Because if they're the listening audience and they're going, well, I don't need a plumber. I don't want to buy anything. Then you have wasted your time and your effort and your energy talking to people who can't and won't help you. And that's not how you're going to make a message go viral. That's not how you're going to get your message across, whatever the message is. The last part of the 5 elements of perfect presentation, once you've allowed your audience to know and get the vision of what you want them to do with this information that you just shared with them, the last thing you're going to come with is recognition. This is when you matter. Think about every movie that you've ever seen. When do you get to know who the grip was that had the camera going? When do you get to know who did the musical score? When do you get to know who were all of the producers and all of, the people who need to take credit for every aspect of that film or that show? You get to know at the end when you go to a theater and you see a presentation. When does everybody come out and take a bow? At the end. That's when they get recognized. The musicians get recognized. The actors get recognized. Everybody's recognized at the end after they've earned it. I'm going to let that sink in. You don't deserve recognition that you haven't earned. And you earn it by performing well. So you just gave a presentation. It was magical. It was special. It was very good. Now people want to know, who are you? Just like the Lone Ranger. I love this example. I don't know how many of you are old enough to remember the Lone Ranger, but think about it. When did we find out who the Lone Ranger was? It was at the end when somebody asked the question, who was that masked man? And then you see up in the distance on the hill, he raised himself up on his horse and he says, "Hi-ho, Silver, the Lone Ranger." That's when you know who was that person. And that's when I want you to think about yourself as a Lone Ranger. When you give a presentation and it's so magical and it's so perfect and it's so polished and it's so relevant that now you get to say, this is me. I am the person that's showing up. I am the person that you need to talk to. You need to go. When you ever have a problem, you call me, because I'm the Lone Ranger in this scenario. I'm underdog. I will make it happen. I will save the day. Now now they want to know your name. Now they want to know your contact information. Now they want to know how do they find you on the internet or anything like that. But if you present that information and you haven't earned it, you're forgettable. You're just another talking head, somebody talking about themselves and how wonderful they are and haven't really earned haven't been decent enough to let people know why they should pay attention to them in the first place. I implore you, don't do that. Okay, I'm going to bring my studio audience back really quick. And I'm going to, not my studio audience, my guest presenters today, and ask them do you guys have any additional feedback or anything that you really loved that you can grab onto and speak to?
Yeah, I do, if I can jump in. There are a couple of things that you said that so resonated with me. One of which was a decision. In your story, you said that he made the decision. And I talk a lot and help people a lot with their decisions, because you're just one decision away from a totally different life. One. And in your story, it was one decision that he made that totally changed his life. So I loved that you talked about that. The other thing that you mentioned was a story. And I just want to kind of support you in that, but also let people know that it doesn't need to be long, and it doesn't need to be a story about a person. It can be a story about, the other day I was giving a talk to perfectly imperfect women, and we were talking about, how you do something and you want it to be perfect. You research it and research it and research, stuck in analysis paralysis until it is absolutely perfect. And you want that one thing to do. And so often in life, you can't find, when you do your research, the one thing that's going to work for you. And just saying that puts people to sleep. Okay, that's great, Amy. But when I followed it up with an analogy to a buffet, and how many of you have been to a buffet, right? We've all been to a buffet. You don't go to a buffet and only eat the chicken or only eat the vegetables. You take a little bit of chicken and you take a little bit of vegetables and you take a little bit of everything, and you go back to your seat and you take a taste, and ooh, this one's okay, but not great. This one's delicious. This one, yeah, I'm not a fan. And when you then go around your plate and you try all the different things, you then combine certain things that you like and you go and get a new plate. And that's the same as moving through perfectionism, not looking for just one thing, but a lot of different things to try. Now, creating that story, it wasn't really about a person. But I bet you now, when you start looking at analysis paralysis and you're looking for that one solution, that you'll think about the buffet. Because as Marvin said, our brains don't work in facts and figures and numbers. Our brains work in pictures. There's a huge study on mnemonics that go into this in detail. But because our brains work in pictures, sending home the message by giving them a vivid picture really, really, really helps. I think we've lost Marvin here.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm sorry I might have lost you there. I was having a bit of a problem with my internet connection. I think it's better now. Joanne, can you hear me?
We can all hear you.
I see you. Okay.
I can hear you.
Yes,
Awesome.
I would
okay.
like.
I think I lost Amy, and they're going to be coming back in as the internet kind of fixes itself. But I'm going to put them back in the backstage for a second. Joanne, do you have anything that you'd like to add?
I just loved your story. I mean, you had me when you said Joe, and it's like, well, what's Joe's problem? And then you said, well, you can't be the hero. Some of that Joseph Campbell stuff, the journey, and we're all on the journey together. And, we got to have a Joe, but somebody's got to be there to help save Joe, or Joe is just going to get lost. Love it, love it, love it. And I do believe that the more you do it, the better it gets. It's not easy. What you stood up there and did, I don't know how many times you told that story, but that's not easy. But it gets easier the more and more you do it. And I am a firm believer in getting support and help. Finding the right coach to help you tell the message, to shape your vision, to help you execute your vision. There are a lot of folks that just do the planning and the talking and stuff, but in execution, that's where the story comes alive. When Joe is able to save his business and his marriage and his family and his community. I mean, it gets bigger and bigger. I'm a believer in global stories. I do a lot of global work. I lived at one point in time in Tanzania, East Africa. Before the pandemic, I was just in India, Bangladesh, and Pakistan. I was in Pakistan in April once they opened up again. I believe that entrepreneurship worldwide is what we need. And the more small businesses we develop, you were spot on, is the economic engine of not just this country, but most countries. And I'm an economist by training. I mean, I was one of the first African-American PhD women economists in the country. That tells you how old I am. But I believe in business and business drive, and it's as many job creators as we could help develop, and as stories like Joe that we could tell to make come true, the greater this country and all the countries will be. So, I love your approach.
You had me a hello. I was like, you're right. We don't do this just so we could not share it, right? So it needs to be shared globally. And it needs to be shared in a way that, you know, it's accessible for everybody. This is why why I do this show. You know, I do it because I don't think I'm ever going to go back to like the Panera Bread doing the local thing, because, you know, it's not easily shared. Now you guys can download this, you can share it, you can do whatever you want to do with it, and it's open to any listening audience. I can't seem to get Montrella and Amy back for some reason.
They're back.
Can you hear?
Yeah. You
We're
got
here.
it.
Can you hear us, Marvin?
I don't see them.
No,
We're here. Yeah, we're here.
Okay.
Here.
Ladies, if you are back, you see them moving, or do you see them just kind of?
No,
Yeah,
they
we're
moving.
here.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys are there. I can see you. I can't see you guys, but you guys say, you know, they say you're there, so I'm gonna let that one go. Today's topic is so extremely relevant, and it's important. You know, I don't know how many of you all have been in presentations or gone through presentations or even seen presentations where individuals are poor at delivery. They're poor at, you know, making things happen. And, you know, like Joanne said, you know, I just told that story extemporaneously to let you know that as long as you understand the system, you don't even have to practice. Now, I don't suggest that you go in unprepared like that. But anytime somebody asks you what you do, you need to whip out a story. Because if you go right into, oh, I do this and I do that and I do this and I do that, they're not really asking you what you do. They're really asking you, why should I pay attention to what you do? And in that, we need to give them some real information. I want to point you now to, if you can, go back to the training manual and go back to page 10. This is what I call the rules of the game. These are the 5-element action guide. These are the things that if you always do well, you should never, ever make a mistake when it comes to creating the perfect story, giving the perfect presentation. And if you need any tips on how to do it and how to break it down, you can go to page 11. You can just start filling out your own template. You can start filling out your own template that'll remind you to make sure that you have impact, drama, hero, vision, and recognition in that order. If you don't do it in that order, you can pull a Quentin Tarantino and tell a story that's disjointed and backwards and all over the place and make people put it together. But I will tell you that's stressful for your audience. It might be exciting and interesting, but it's not something that you want to rely on because people don't really want to do that kind of work. You know, they don't pay to do that kind of work. You know, you need to make it easy for your audience so they understand and they feel like, you know, they've got something meaningful they want to share. So here are the rules. Never use jargon, never use professional acronyms in your presentation, and learn to communicate on a 9th grade level. Now, I used to say 7th grade level, and people used to get offended. I still believe it's 7th grade level, to be honest with you. But, you know, let's make sure that we communicate. I don't know how many of you have seen that show, Smarter Than the Average 5th Grader, but it's amazing how people don't know what you think they should know. And so you want to make sure you're communicating at a level that your audience can easily understand. Keep it simple, keep it easy, and that's going to win you more hearts and minds than if you try to go into your multilingual vocabulary and come up with something magical. Don't do it. Keep the language simple. Less is more. The simpler your presentation is, the better it's going to be. Don't complicate it with a whole bunch of crazy visuals and charts and graphs, because what you think is easy to understand may not be easy for somebody who's graphically challenged to understand. If it's a picture and the picture says that, you know, what it needs to say, great. If it's a small quote, great. But, you know, a whole bunch of complicated charts and graphs that require, you know, a PhD to even read or understand, that's not going to help you. Be certain to touch those emotional chords. I told you about the drama. You have to sink the drama to the deepest low. No, I told you the story of Joe. If Joe failed, you understood what that would mean to Joe, right? But if it succeeded, you also understand what that would mean to him as well. So you have to give enough information so people understand what the pain, the suffering, the anguish is, and then give them enough information to know after the decision is made, the choice is made for that person to come to that higher level. So you got to touch those emotional chords. You got to use demographic descriptions. When you talk about the character development up front, you're not talking about their feelings or their wants or desires. You're talking about who they are, where they live, how many kids they have, what their name is, what their age is, something that we can see. How big is their company? Don't talk about what their needs are right up front, because you want us to think about people that we know and we identify with, like I said up front, so that then when you get into those other things, the needs and desires and so on and so forth, now we have somebody that we've already thought about to attach it to, because you want us running to tell that story to the people that we're thinking about, right? So you got to use that demographic description right up front. Remember, there are steps to relationship building. So start slow. Make sure that whatever you say in your vision statement, that is something easy that somebody can do. You don't want it to make it hard for them or complicated for them or difficult for them. So don't give a laundry list. Oh, I can work with this people and that people and this people, or even worse, don't say I can work with anybody, because anybody is nobody. Everybody wants to be a meaningful, specific. Nobody wants to be a wandering generality. That's from Zig Ziglar himself, and it is true. So make sure that you're very specific. These are people that I want to work with. If it's the only time you get a chance to tell a story, be specific. Don't be broad, don't be general, because that gets you nowhere. You want to make sure that you're really, really describing who you want to talk to, who you want to work in. Check in with your audience often. Make sure that you're taking a look, see who they are, see if they're feeling what you're talking about. Get the nonverbals. Turn it up if you need to turn it up. Turn it down if you need to turn it down. Because sometimes you can be so loud and so verbose and so over the top that, you may be pushing people away, especially people who, like me, who are an introvert. I don't really go for the loud talker. I don't really go for the person who seems to be all about themselves. I go for the people who are servant leaders, the people who seem to have a heart for what they do, and they're passionate about it, so much so they can tell me a story of how and who they helped. If they can't tell me that, I'm like, you say you're good, but I don't know. Can you believe it? I don't know how to believe that, right? Don't get too cute. A lot of people try to, use extremely, exciting details in their presentation, and their exciting details, like if you can perform magic, that's fine. You perform magic, but understand, if that's not what you do, then you might be throwing people off. If you're an insurance salesman, but you're performing magic, you might be a little, you're not really necessarily, people are excited and they're interested, but they're not going to trust you to come and do insurance. They're going to trust you to come and do magic. You feel me? So make sure that you don't waste time with catchy, gimmicky type of presentation skills. Don't stand on chairs. Don't announce yourself as, some kind of crazy name that nobody else can pronounce or even think about or grab hold to. That's not going to be things that people are going to. Keep it simple. Keep it easy. Keep it simple. Remember, you're always going to win that way. Choose the right networks to begin with. If you're talking to people who can't help you, you're talking to the wrong people. Choose a different audience, unless you're just practicing. Then it's a caveat to that. If you're just practicing and it doesn't matter, then that's a great, maybe you want to get some feedback, right? You want to get some people to let you know what they think about it. But it's nothing like the live audience, the target audience, the people who can actually be in your corner, who can actually support you and help. That's the group that you want to be in front of as much as possible. Relay the sobering indications of doing nothing. Like I told you in the story, if you don't help me, then you don't help all the Joes out there. You don't help all the plumbers out there, all the HVAC people out there, all the handymen out there. You're not helping them by keeping this story to yourself. But if you share the story with them, then you're helping them. You're doing the right thing, because you're introducing them to somebody who might be able to make their lives a lot better, right? Think about that. If you're not doing it, then you're part of the problem. If you're not going to tell the story, then you're part of the problem. You're keeping other people down. Think about that. You have to relay those sobering implications of doing nothing to your audience, so they know, so you can then enlist, you can recruit them into what you're trying to do. You've got to know and express the fantastic benefits of working with you. What's in it for the people? How are they going to be helped by working with you, by telling the story that you just told? what's going to be in it for them? They're going to feel good about themselves. They're going to feel like they've done something significant. They're going to feel special. Make sure you let them know. Always plan some incentives for your referral sources. Maybe there's something special you're going to do for them, or you're going to treat their clients or the people that refer you. They're going to give them the A quality service, the 100% money back guarantee, whatever it is that you're going to offer. Make sure that you do it in a way that they know that it's significant and special just because they spent the time to listen to you today, kind of thing. Stay away from their product, facts, and features. Nobody cares. They only care about the benefits. When you're ready to buy, now you care about the facts and the features of the product. But if you try to relay that in a simple presentation, a 2-minute, a 5-minute, even a 10-minute presentation, you're really giving people more than they can hold on to, and you're scaring most of them away because now they got to go think about it. They got to go think about what is that? Well, yeah, he said it does these 50,000 different things. Too much. It's like turning a fire hose onto a situation. You can't. Describe your vision for the product and service you're describing. Where are you going with this thing? Why are these people important to you? What's the mission that you're on? Make sure you talk about that. Make sure you share that. Share the names and the future prospects that are going to be perfect for you, right? Give a timeline of who you're going to be approaching and when you're going to be approaching prospects that you're talking about. Because it's very, very important that people know that, you know what, I'm going to be going after the same people that I'm talking about right now. And so you don't want to wait till a month to get in front of this because it's going to be too late. I will have already figured out a way to get in front of those people, right? Create a short branding statement that works and develop a memory hook. Now, what's a memory hook? I want to make sure a branding statement and a memory hook, they're very similar. A branding statement is a short statement that says, I'm going to do what for who. I do what for who. My name is Coach Powell. I work for entrepreneurs, small businesses, and help them focus, get their energy up, and make sure that they are producing at a level that they could not have produced prior to meeting me. That's what I do. It's critically important that you have some type of branding statement, right? And then you also want to have a memory hook. A memory hook might be something catchy that you can say that's interesting and it shares what it is that you do and who you do it for. But it's something that if you only have a few seconds to talk about yourself or whatever, few seconds that you can pull out. You don't want to use a memory hook at the end of a presentation. But if you don't have, except for a 30-second presentation or something really short, then you want to use a memory hook. And like you might be, my good friend Darren is a realtor, and at the end of all of his presentations, because he's also a dancer, he's the realtor with smooth moves. That's a memory hook, right? He's the realtor with smooth moves. Or my good friend Danielle is she helps girls get into business, so she considers herself the chief CEO in charge, right? These are things that people may use. And again, it's cute. Like I said earlier, though, don't get too cute, because too cute is just too cute. It's not going to be. We'll remember you, but we won't remember anything else about you that's relevant to what you do. I don't know why I can't get my other two back in the studio so I can see them and talk to them. For some reason, ladies, I know you're out there. And I apologize for some reason I switched internet connection and I lost you. All I can see is Joanne. And so it's the me and Joanne show right now, as far as I can tell. But hopefully this is picking you guys up and you're recording. You're seeing a recording. I can't hear you or anything, so I don't know. If
Can you hear us?
You had anything to add, maybe you can try to put it in the chat, in the private chat, and I can pick it up. Let's see here. Yeah, it's just me and Joanne. I don't know what happened to.
Well, a minute ago, I saw both of them. Just now, I saw both of them and I heard them talking.
Really?
Yeah.
I hope the recording picked them up, and I'm sure I cut them off then.
I see Amy now.
Yeah.
Amy, could you speak?
I can see both of you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me,
Is
Joanne?
she speaking, Joanne?
Yeah, she is speaking. She's speaking. So I don't know why you can't hear it. I can.
And you can hear her.
I can hear her. I can hear her. See?
Awesome. So, Amy, if you have any last words, feel free to share it with the audience, because we're going to close this thing out in a little bit.
I think that I can just
And Joanne, you let me know when she finishes talking.
I will.
Technology is great when it works. Oh my goodness. I just love what you shared, Marvin. I think that it was powerful and it was definitely impactful. And I think that entrepreneurs can use this in so many different ways. It's not just in like when I'm giving a talk or something along those lines. It can be in a networking opportunity. It can be out at a dinner. It can be in an event. It can be in so many different ways. When somebody introduces you, you can use this technique that he has suggested. Do you hear the echo?
I hear the echo.
Yeah, that's my phone. I had to play her on the phone because I can't on the computer. I can't hear her.
Oh,
I'm
no.
sorry.
That's quite all right. And so I think that it's a great tool to use. Just like he said, don't get too caught up in the specifics. Try it. Don't be too afraid. You know, if you want something you don't have, you need to do something you've not done. So try something that you've not done and play with it and have fun and give yourself permission to fall totally on your face and then just laugh at it and do it again. And then eventually it will become a lot easier. You'll become a lot more comfortable. Perhaps do it in arenas that aren't your target market or with people that aren't your target. But go out there and try something different. Try something like what he's saying, because it will have an impact on your business.
She's finished.
Fantastic. I'm watching her on the video feed on my phone, and it's got a 5-second delay. So even though she's finished, I see her still talking. Anyway, it's great, guys. Thank you so much. It's been an amazing show today. I'm so sorry for the technical difficulties. I'll try to figure this out so that we do a much better job. But for both of you also, you know, this has been recorded and is being recorded right now. And so you can go on and chop it up and take pieces of it and do whatever you want to do for your own promotional activities or anything. Is there anything else you want to share in the chat or whatever? Let me know and I will go ahead and post it. If there's anybody in the listening audience that has any questions about anything we talked about today, feel free to post that information in the chat, and we'll see if we can't recognize you at this time. And hopefully we'll be able to get Amy and Montrella back. But for right now, we'll just have to suffer along with what we got. Any last minute thoughts that you want to share, Joanne?
Just welcome anyone who's interested in our TED Circle that we're having on next Tuesday to talk about the future of work and entrepreneurship for the underserved, how to develop entrepreneurs from the bottom up. So all are welcome. I can the link should be in the chat. If not, hit me up on LinkedIn.
And I just reposted that all over again.
Okay.
So we can make sure that it's there. Amy, if you have any last words to share, go ahead and do so. I can see you on my phone, even though I can't see you on the computer. So I see your smiling face. If there's anything you want to share, go right ahead.
You guys, I love to connect with people, and it's amazing the synergy and the different ways that we can really inspire and uplift and help each other. I'm all about that.
Wow, that's a 10-second delay.
Oh no, and just to let you know, when Joanne came on before we started, we realized that we actually have a connection in a way to, you know, something that we want to collaborate and talk about afterwards. You never know. So if there's any way that I can help any of you, please don't hesitate to reach out.
She stopped.
Awesome. Thank you so very much, guys. Thank you for helping me, Joanne. I don't know why things are working for you, but it's not working for the other speakers. But hey, we're gonna figure this out and keep the party going. Next week, we're going to talk about True Voice. We're going to start a whole new series. It's going to be a 7-part series that talks about True Voice. True Voice is a program that I created to help people understand how to create entrepreneurial relationships. Whether you're trying to find mentors or supporters or investors or anybody who can be empowered to really, really support your business in a big way, you want to start those relationships off correctly. I don't care whether it's attorney, CPA, whoever you need to be an advisor for you, a mentor for you, a coach for you, a consultant for you. You want to make sure that you start those kinds of relationships off very, very well. And True Voice is the system that you could use to do that. And we're going to go through that. We're going to start that next week. I hope you guys will tune in and pay attention. It's going to be great. And I'm looking forward to, again, if anybody has any problems or any questions about how to do perfect presentations, you got the document. You can download it on your own. It's right there. Everything you need to know is right there. And it's much more detailed and much more polished and put together than I shared with you today, because I'm having to try to play, too many different hosts and technical difficulties and all that kind of good stuff. So I was a little bit flustered, but that's all right. We're going to keep the party going. Thank you guys for your attention, and we love you. And I'm going to put you guys backstage for now as I clear things off. And again, if your listening audience has any final questions, go ahead and put that in the chat, and I will respond. If not during the broadcast, after the broadcast, and I will talk to you all later. Thank you so very much. I'm ending the broadcast now.